Okay, it's Tuesday and I'm just getting ready to go to Social Media Conference Cymru. I've never been to this conference before. I think it's the second time they're running it. Maybe more. I think it's the second time. But anyway, my friend Hannah Isted is speaking, which I'm very excited about. It's got what looks like a really good lineup. There's some really interesting talks and topics covered. I have no sort of formal training in marketing, but I've been learning as I've been going along running my business. And I always find it really interesting. So I'm excited to learn more. So obviously I'm going to take you along with me for the day and share with you what I learn and what the event's like. So yeah, I'm just gonna make myself some breakfast and then head over to my friend Owen's house because he's given me a lift. It's like outside of Cardiff in a place called Pontypridd. The Hensol, I think, is the venue. I think it's like a really nice hotel. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have woken up with a stinking cold, which is not ideal, but thankfully I'm not feeling too bad. I'm just a bit like bunged up. But yeah, I kind of knew that that was around the corner when my kids went back to school. But I kind of have this like weird mindset about it where I actually feel okay about getting a cold now because in my head, I feel like that means I'm less likely to get one just before Adobe Max. So I'm having a very positive attitude about this whole cold thing. But yeah, hopefully I don't feel too grim today.
High-res content on organic social media. I will literally die on this hill. The high-res content, so that is, those really boring camera graphics that no one likes. Like those don't work. They definitely got a place on potentially paid media and LinkedIn at push. But if we're talking Instagram and TikTok, which is what I specialise in, the camera graphics, they gotta go.
You have to start by being specific. One of the biggest mistakes in behavior change campaigns is being too vague about what we want people to do. If we are not precise, we risk designing communications that sound good, that look good, but that don't result in measurable outcomes. So, being specific means breaking down a broad goal into exact behaviors and actions that we need to drive that change.
Firstly, in the changing social media and content world, why YouTube?
Well, I think there's sort of two big categories there. The first is just that YouTube is massive. And we probably all know that instinctively, and we may have seen some of the statistics, but there was an Ofcom report that came out a few weeks ago that said that YouTube is now second largest video distribution behind the BBC. So BBC is number one on TV, but YouTube is ahead of ITV and all of the ITV platforms. In the US, it's very, very similar. So it's by far the biggest, ahead of Netflix, ahead of all of the broadcasters, as the number one video platform in the US. It's also the biggest podcasting platform in the US. Who knew that? That a video platform would be the biggest way of distributing what is traditionally audio content. So it is a very, very big platform and almost sort of irresistible in that sense. But I think the second area that's worth commenting on is it's not just size, it's actually the way that YouTube defines culture. So it's the quantitative side, but it's also, if you like, the qualitative side. You think of any area of culture, whether that's music, the way that bands are broken and music acts appear on YouTube, grow on YouTube.
My goodie bag unboxing, Social Media Conference Cymru. Let's see what we've got inside.
You're a natural.
We've got, obviously, Tony's.
Love it.
Beautiful. And they've designed the bags to match my branding in yellow.
How thoughtful of them.
Additional lemonade. And then we've got a notebook, which everyone will need for my talk. So like write down all the important
I think there's a
things.
pen as well.
And a pen.
Oh, nice.
Very good haul.
Comes from communication. When I first started at Trust,
Okay, so we've just had lunch in the speaker room, thanks to Hannah. How are you feeling about doing your talk?
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I do know it, and
Yeah, good.
I kind of just want to get out there and get it done now.
Yeah,
You know, when you
I
get
think
to that
that's
point.
the thing that's hard when you're later in the day is like the anticipation and the waiting of it. What's been your favourite talk so far?
I would probably say Gus's, to be fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I did like the YouTube discussion as well, because that was really interesting about podcasts. So I asked the question of, basically, if you have a podcast, should you go onto YouTube? And he kind of said yeah, which made me think maybe I am missing a trick with that.
The thing that I thought was really interesting is that he said that YouTube is like the biggest platform for podcasts in the US, which I'm really shocked about, because my experience of putting my podcast on YouTube hasn't been great. I think if you just connect the feed and it brings it all in, it like messes up the look of your channel. So I don't think they've like quite mastered how they organize the episodes. But I think if you're putting up video, like if you're not connecting it with your RSS feed, your RSS feed of your podcast, and you're just manually uploading the videos, then I think it works really well. So that's what I've been doing for my solo episodes. You should totally do that, because I'm only editing it once. Like I just edited it. Oh, I can't even speak now. edited it. I just edit like the video, and then I just export the video and then just the audio. So you totally could do it.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, like, obviously Liz is filming this now on the DJI, and then she influenced me to get DJI. So now I've got a DJI. And I am thinking I could just do it on that.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, just clip on the microphone. Yeah, totally you could. And I made a video the other day, which is on my YouTube channel, about how I edit my solo episodes really, really quickly, like using tips in Premiere Pro. You know, like getting rid of all the pauses and stuff. Honestly, it's so fast. I feel like I feel like I've mastered my process for that now, which makes it not too overwhelming. Because you're all about like quick and easy.
What was your favourite
talk? Yeah, I think the YouTube one definitely, but mainly because that's like what I'm really interested in at the moment. Like I think just the way, like one of the things that he was talking about was living room content, and how like I think he said it was like 50% plus people watching like YouTube in their living room. And also he was talking about how it's like the second streaming platform after the BBC, for example, in the UK. And I just think that's really interesting. Like it's such a big platform, and I feel really happy that I'm finally making content there. And like hearing him talk about it, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I can totally see how this is like a smart strategic decision. So I thought he was really good. I actually really enjoyed, I didn't see all of it, but the bit that I saw of the National Trust woman, she does like social media at National Trust, and it wasn't like super relevant to me in terms of like, I don't work for a big organisation like that, but I always like the behind the scenes of like, what is it actually like making content. You know, like she had like good little stories and things.
She said that like there was one about the Welsh folklore thing with the
Oh,
horse,
yeah.
and they do quite big chunks of text with it. And she said sometimes they will accidentally miss out some of the facts and things, and people love to go on it and correct it. And I see that all of the time on TikTok as well. If you say something like almost purposefully wrong, people will go and correct it, and people do that with ads.
Yeah.
They will put a typo in an ad, won't they? Because they want people to comment on it going, you've spelled that wrong, and it gets the engagement.
I had a typo in an ad recently,
Yeah.
like a really obvious one on the screen. One person commented on it, and it was a mistake. Like, I didn't do it on purpose. I was like, at least if everyone had corrected it, I would have got. I do think that is really interesting though, because not a lot of people, but I have heard it mentioned a couple of times, this idea of rage baiting and actually doing that as a strategy. So the girl, her name's Jessie, I can't remember what her surname is, I'll put it on the screen. Jessie Hallett, who spoke at the beginning. She runs a social media agency, and she talked about a post that they did for it's meant to be like the least messy burger ever.
Right.
So the whole point is like you can eat it with your hands and you don't get messy. So they put that on the screen, and then they filmed a video, but they intentionally made it really messy.
Right.
And so the way she described it was like, to do rage bait effectively, you say one thing but then show the opposite.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was actually like really interesting, that was their strategy to get loads of engagement. And you'd think that was a negative thing, but actually she was saying it just means that it's more likely to get in front of the people who would like that burger.
Yeah.
Like, and they can sort of see it for what it is, but all those comments then get it out to more people. So I thought that was really, I feel like the thought of rage baiting terrifies me.
Yeah,
but
I do think
it's
you have
interesting.
done like cheeky hooks almost, where like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a branding type hook. I'm trying to think of an example of one. They're almost like, if you use times New Roman, you shouldn't have a business.
As in, you're saying I should do ones like that?
No, I feel like you have.
Have I? I definitely haven't said if you use Times New Roman, you shouldn't have
I'm not
this.
saying like that, but like,
I feel like
done some cheeky.
I think
ones.
Occasionally I accidentally do a rage baity one.
Because I think the design community do have lots of thoughts around that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely something I'm gonna think about more.
Yeah.
Like, not to making everyone really angry. Well, I recently made everyone really angry by not doing any work, so
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that was
when I say everyone,
unbelievable.
it was like 6 people, but they weren't happy. No, it's good. So that's our little debrief of the first half. Obviously, later on we'll do a debrief of Hannah's talk. I'll do a debrief.
See you later.
And I'll be having a large glass of wine somewhere. But yeah, it's been a really good morning so far.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hannah promises you leave this session with renewed confidence in your social media work and practical systems that you can implement immediately. Rowch groeso cynnes, please welcome Hannah Isted.
Mistake number one is that you are more worried about being annoying than you are about your message. So what I really want you to think about when it comes to this is being more brand. Now, do you know who is not worrying about being annoying? John Lewis. John Lewis, Marks and Spencer, Oliver Bonus. I fear I may be giving away my age bracket with those examples. They are not worried about annoying you with their emails and their content. They are worried about their bottom line, they are worried about the sales that they are going to be making, they are going to be repetitive and they are going to keep selling to you because their message is the most important thing. So, some practical advice for you based on this mistake is that I just really want you to be 10% more annoying this week. And we did this trend where we basically, it says, we told our husbands we were going to a marketing conference and we wouldn't have any fun. And it's lots of little videos of us doing a straight face. I said I was going to try and do the straight face. I honestly can't do it on demand, it's so difficult. And that video had 31,000 views. As you can see there, it's got almost 1,500 likes and almost 300 comments.
So we ran out of time after the event to do any sort of post-event analysis. So it's a few days later, I've had my hair cut, and I thought I'd come back and I guess do a bit of a kind of roundup of the event. I know I am biased, but Hannah's talk really was a standout one for me. There were so many little like memorable bits that I keep thinking about. So obviously like the big one was the be 10% more annoying. Obviously because it's like funny, it's just like really succinct and easy to remember. So many people shared a story of that slide because, you know, it really stood out. And I think we all need the reminder that it's okay to be repetitive. It's okay to share our message over and over again in multiple different ways. You know, like I think we all do get worried about like, oh, am I annoying people by posting on Instagram too much or vlogging too much or, you know, sharing our message over and over again, you know, and it's getting annoying for people. So I really needed that reminder, and I've been thinking about it a lot over the last few days or since the conference. Yeah, and I loved like the question, like, how can I be 10% more annoying? You know, like if you feel like you're being annoying now, you can probably be that bit more annoying in your marketing. So that really stood out to me. She had loads of other really good points as well. I also really enjoyed Gus's talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not a platform that I naturally get on with, but he had like really practical tips. And I really like that, you know, when I can actually like write down some things that I need to go and do. So that one really encouraged me to sort of go and explore LinkedIn a bit more. So yeah, that was really helpful. But I just came away feeling inspired just to try different things. You know, like different speakers shared different ideas. Some of them were contradictory, which I thought was interesting. Like, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. And I actually personally quite like it when people contradict themselves, because then I feel like it gives me permission to just do what I want. So if you've got like professionals that are saying one thing and then professionals that are saying the opposite, then I'm kind of like, oh, well, maybe I can just work out what's best for me then. So sometimes I love that because it's like a permission slip to me to just, you know, try things out and pick what I want to do. So I think one of the like noticeable things that was disagreed on from the stage was this idea of like content being lo-fi, so not putting like loads of production into it. It can be quite like scrappy and quick. And then other people were, you know, definitely sort of talking about the quality over quantity, you know, like don't put anything out unless it's like super polished, super slick. So that was kind of like one of the main things that I heard different takes on from the stage. But yeah, it was really cool to have a conference of like this size and this caliber in South Wales. Like I enjoyed the variety of topics covered and the variety of speakers. It definitely felt like there was a lot of agencies in the room, or, you know, like maybe like government departments, like maybe in-house teams rather than freelancers or people who were self-employed. So yeah, it definitely had kind of like a leaning towards agencies. So I felt like I was one of the very few self-employed people in the room. So that was interesting. But yeah, I definitely think I would go back again. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, like proud friend getting to see Hannah do her talk in front of 400 people. And she absolutely smashed it and was just so at home, so at ease on the stage. So yeah, I looked like an absolute idiot in the front row. I was basically sat there holding 2 Osmo 3s, filming the entire thing. So I got one of them was filming it in landscape, one of them was filming it in portrait. And then at one point, Hannah called me out from the stage, commenting how I was in the front row, and I was literally like, please don't look at me, please don't look at me, because honestly, I just looked like, well, I looked like her biggest fangirl there, like recording with 2 devices. And then every time I needed to itch my nose, I had to like slowly go like this. But yeah, so that is my sort of like summary of the event. I love getting to go to stuff like that. I actually really enjoy just getting out of my office, this little room that I spend most of my time in, meeting different people. I find it very energizing and inspiring. So yeah, it was great for that. And next week, I'm going to be back with another vlog from a very different sort of event that I went to, a website clinic. So yeah, look out for that one next Monday. But thanks for coming along with me to Social Media Conference Cymru.